Hey, good morning to you. Yesterday, I picked up a rider who had to go over to Roswell to pick up a Tesla. We began making our way, on the trip, and I asked him what he did. He said he was a computer programmer, went to Georgia Tech, and then he asked me, he said, "What do you do?" I don't like to get into this, but, I do at times. And I said, well, I used to be a minister. I've been out of it for about 7 years. And then he said, what happened? Why'd you get out? Now, if I had known what was coming later, I'd understand why he asked that. But, again, I didn't really want to get into all that. I try to stay away from it. But he asked, and I said, okay, I'll tell you. So we spent a few minutes talking about that. Got finished, and then I said, so are you a person of faith? He said, no, I'm not. And I said, so you're an atheist? He said, that's right. And I said, okay, do you mind telling me, why you're an atheist? I'm just curious. And I said, if you don't want to discuss this, that's fine. I'm just asking. He said, no, I don't mind. He said, actually, I grew up in church. But he said, as I got older, I started having questions about the faith. He said, I saw people leaving the church, and I just had questions about a lot of it. And he said that led me to leave the faith. And he talked about some internet forums that he's in, and, interaction that he's had with other people and all that. And so then we got to talking about, what an atheist believes, and why they believe that. And I told him, I said, well, I've had some questions recently. I said, I grew up in the church, been a minister for years, but there's some things about the Bible. I said, I believe the Bible. I believe in God, but there are questions that I have. And so I've met other people that have some of those same questions. Some things, you don't have the answers to, you don't know. And I told him, he was talking, he even mentioned, and, if this offends anybody, I'm sorry. He said, he said, I don't particularly like Christians. The Christians can be mean. I said, buddy, I agree with you. I don't always like Christians either. I mean, I've had some experiences. So I'm with you. And so we continued to talk, and he explained to me why he believed what he did. He explained to me why atheists believe what they do. And, at that point, I could have said, buddy, you were just absolutely wrong. And you're going to bust hell wide open. But I didn't. We talked. And I said, well, explain to me why you believe that. He did. And I said, okay, let me give you something I believe. I said, I know that there are questions about God. But I said, when I see creation, I may not understand everything, but when I see creation tells me there's got to be a divine being. There's got to be a divine being that created everything. And he suggested something else. He said, well, that's called this. And I don't remember what he said. This guy was very intelligent. And, if you don't know what you believe, he could whip you in a verbal battle. And I didn't get into that with him because he's very intelligent, very smart, And for him, everything had to add up. See, for an atheist or for a skeptic or whatever, that they lean heavy on science. And we all have to admit now, Christianity is not about science. It's about faith. You can't be a Christian unless you have faith in Jesus. None of us have ever seen Jesus. I mean, we read the Bible and we believe Jesus exists because, for 2,000 years, people have talked about Jesus. We've experienced what Jesus has done in our lives, but we've never seen Jesus. So when somebody says, I have a hard time believing in something that I can't see and that I can't touch, that's where faith comes in. And you can't be a Christian unless you have some faith. Anyway, I just dropped some seeds with this guy, and I tried to, I said, man, I'd love to talk with you sometime. I'd love to just discuss with you what you believe. He kind of chuckled, and he said, sure. I said, you mind giving me your phone number? He said, yeah. He gave me his phone number, his name, and I'm going to follow up with him. I don't know that anything will come out of it, but I'm going to try. But here's the deal. This world has changed. Changed big time. There's a lot of different beliefs out there. And there are more and more people who are questioning the faith. What we have to do as Christians is not necessarily pound them over the head with a Bible. Okay? And we have a tendency to want to do that. But instead to listen to them, to love them. We're going to do a lot more good loving somebody than we are arguing with someone. Not going to do any good. They're going to be turned off. So, join with me and let's listen to others. Somebody who differs with us in faith, okay, let's listen to them and try to love them and encourage them and hopefully drop a seed. Jesus loves you, friend, and Jesus loves my atheist friend, all right? We all need to love one another, and let's listen and try to minister. Hope you have a great day.